And here we are. Welcome everybody, 6 o'clock, to another episode number 17 of Mindful Moments. So great to have you all on board here. Especially welcome to all the new faces here tonight. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Just tune in and comment below so that we can know that you are on board here. Welcome to all our Facebook people and also everybody on YouTube live on board. So we're going to have an awesome time here tonight. Yes, so 2 minutes before 6 every Sunday night, you will hear the gong. But, maybe I must always do it the other way, but more loud, to make the loud announcement for those of you who are still half asleep from your Sunday afternoon nap. So let me just give you a bit of a rude awakening here with my bugle. Right, there we are, right. So let's get it started. So I'm very excited tonight for everything what's going to happen here. And so stay tuned from 6 till 7 o'clock when we're going to just elaborate more and explore all the aspects of living in the moment and what it means to be in the present moment and what value of nuggets you can extract from the concept of living in a moment and how it will benefit you. So great to have you all on board, all the faces and names, everybody. Peter, Bongewe, Marlet, Sonia, Lisa, Nadine, Ilani, Lynette, Marinda, Bereki, everybody, Desiree, everybody, Ruan, Mark, my old army friend, everybody here tonight. Just, Mari, you just also just joined us here. Everybody here. Tialise, jy ook. It's all of you are here tonight. Fantastic. So, tonight's a jam-packed evening because this week I've been thinking about the big challenge that many of you have, because many of you told me this week, some people still manage to stay rent-free in my mind. And I'm struggling to get stuff out of my mind, and especially when I'm about to go to bed. I can't sleep because someone is staying rent-free in my mind. Whether it's my boss or my ex, or my worries that I can't pay my rent, or whatever it is, or mistakes of the past, or you just beating yourself up from something that happened 50 years ago in your life and you are still there, and that thing is still playing rent-free in your mind. This is what we're going to talk about tonight. So I don't know, many of you are still struggling with that stuff. If this is you, that you are having a battle with these kind of challenges, that stuff and things are staying rent-free in your mind, comment below. You can have a confession or two tonight. It's fine. No one will judge you. In this place, in this space here, nobody is judging you. Here you can say it as it is, what you are struggling with. And so don't feel shy. Shy away from that idea and comment below if you are also having a struggle with stuff that's staying rent-free in your mind. Hello Esther, lanklaas gesien. Blame Yoki. Great to have you all on board here tonight. So some of you must just check. I don't have the stats here with tonight, so let's just see here by 6:30 how many of us are live here. So that gives me also an idea of how many people tuning in and when's the height of the show, just the stats, just to get an idea. Yes. So some of you are struggling, Mario, as you say, with the past. Something sometimes happen that we are stuck there, or that when someone has offended you and someone has criticized you, and then you remain stuck there, you just can't get your head over it. And that's what we're going to focus on here tonight. So are you ready? Are you ready? So remember, this is your opportunity here tonight. Number one, to relax, reflect, and reset yourself. That's why you're here for. Yes, many of you will agree with me and say, Jath, This is my challenge, like Desiree, you saying, stuck in the past big time. Yes, Duchess, Colleen, you are saying that my best friend's betrayal stays rent-free. It's been 15 years. Long time, eh? Long time, long time. So that's why we're here for, to help you, to support you, and give you some tips and clues and ideas, and strategies, answers, solutions towards this big challenge of how something of way back then is still here, staying rent-free in your mind. So the idea of tonight's show is to really understand that we're gonna focus on the concept of, let me just get that slideshow. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. No more rent-free living. Don't you think it's time to evict the squatters in your mind? I don't know how many of you here on this show tonight are landlords. Any landlords here? What do you do with someone who doesn't pay their rent? You can say, oh, stay here. I need you to stay here for rent-free. You are so welcome. Please overstay your visit. Or else you will say, shame, I feel so sorry for them. Can't kick them out. What will happen to them? In the meantime, you have to pay the bond. The bank doesn't care. Am I right? So this is what's happening in reality. And you know, with our country's laws about squatting, they are very much in favor of squatters. It's very difficult to evict a squatter out of your premises, your property. And likewise, it's also just as challenging to evict these illegal squatters because they squat. And they have all sorts of tactics to stay there rent-free on your property. And just as in the real life, when there's a squatting challenge, there are some aspects that you can attend to, some strategies, but it's going to cost you to get a lawyer to evict these individuals from your property. And likewise, tonight I would like to also give you some strategies what you can do to evict these illegal squatters in your mind. Because you know why? Because your mind is a prime real estate. Hello, tonight I want you to introduce yourself to yourself as your mind is the space of a real estate. And the question is, but who are you letting live there without a lease? Because tonight is about reclaiming your mental space. Does it make sense? Are you tuned into the right channel here tonight? Am I speaking to the right audience here, ladies and gentlemen? If that's the case, so let's just get intentional here tonight, because tonight is the time, is the opportunity where you need to clean. You need to clean up. And this is your opportunity, what we're going to focus on tonight. Because you need to identify who are these squatters in your mind. And they are limiting belief systems that comes from three sources in your life. Number one, what you've learned through the ages, through generations. Because some of them, many of them, we have inherited. And in our previous shows, we really spent a lot of time on these inherited beliefs. So if you want to know more about it, go to our YouTube channel, The Ancient Master, and there you will find all the other 16 episodes where we tackled all the inherited generational beliefs that we just adopted subconsciously, made it part of ourselves, and then we just live it, and we don't know why things are going so bad in our lives. But many of these squatters don't only come from learning and inherited experiences, but also from trauma. And those of you who experience trauma, you will know what I mean. This is where the stuff gets stuck in your mind. Like people from past relationships who are still influencing you at this very day. And this is what many of you may feel here tonight. And some of you, Desiree, you mentioned that, still stuck in the past big time, and we are struggling to let go of them, to evict them. And another type of squatter that we have are cultural narratives that restrict our potential. And I don't want to go into much detail because then people get offended here, but many times some cultural and religious narratives can also restrict our potential, and then we just remain stuck with this idea of living in the past. But you know what? The biggest squatter that we have is this inner critic speaking to you like, you can't do it. You are stupid, you are ugly, you are fat, you're a loser, you will never make it. And then the shame voice, shame on you. How dare you? You, Jeff, how dare you speak to other people about living in the moment? You're the last one to speak about this. You know, in our coaching program and mentoring program that takes place on every Thursday evening at 7 on our Teams group there I'm helping the people to use their shame as the game to gain, actually. But that's a story for another day. But here in this context, the squatter is that shame voice. Shame is shame because it's still under the blanket. You are too ashamed of talking about it. And that voice then echoes in our mind the whole time, very loud. And another squatter that's also overstaying their visit in this estate, sacred estate, is outdated self-talk. Belief systems that stems back from the past regarding our self-esteem, rejection issues, competency issues, issues about validation and not feeling good enough, belief systems pertaining to perfectionism, belief systems pertaining to not being able to perform because those voices of the past, echoes of the past, is still holding us back. And they can be on a conscious or they can operate on a subconscious basis, but either way, they are there and they are very, very loud. Do you recognize it? Do you recognize some of them? Okay, let's go on. You see, how did they get in? That's my next question. I was asking myself this week, this question, Jeff. How did these squatters come in? Now, you know, if you deal with squatters on your estate, the number one reason could be you didn't lock the door. You left it open. There was no security. You trusted too easily. There was no safety guards. And that's where they came in and how they came in. Another way how they get in is the belief that's formed through repetition and emotion. You see, first they come and visit. And then they go. And the next time when they come and visit, they overstay their visit. And next time, they just bring all their other friends and the chommies in. So now it's a repetition. First of all, it was just a visit, but now they stay. And how they also get in very, very quickly and instantly is through our early life programming as children and through traumatic experiences that we had. You know, at school when you had to learn for an exam, it's so difficult to get this stuff into your mind. But with trauma, it's instantly ingrained in your mind, unforgettable for the rest of your life. That's how the brain remembers in terms of trauma. And then also how these squatters get into our lives has got to do with false beliefs disguised as truth and realism. And I hear this every day of my life in my work. But you don't understand me. I hear this every day. Yeah, in theory, Jeff, what you are saying is so easy. You know it's easy for you, but you don't know my situation. That's a manifestation, if you talk like that, of a false belief disguised as realism. I deal with it every day. Every day, when people are stuck in these belief systems, in this situation that they find themselves in, they actually don't realize actually it's the belief system that keeps them stuck there, not their situation as such. So that's how it gets into our lives. And I want you to think this tonight and ask this question. Why does this person who's staying rent-free in your mind, his or her opinion hold so much weight? Why does it carry so much weight? That person, that criticism, that harsh words, words of pain, words of rejection, why is it so difficult? Why is it so that that person's words is so special to stay rent-free in your mind? You get it? Why? Why is it so that that person doesn't care about you, but you care about that person to such a degree that it hurts you? You get it? That's why you need to remind yourself that their words merely reflect their perspective, not your reality. I'm going to get back to this later on. Because this is something that you need to ask yourself, why is it so that that individual, I always say, and give the example in traffic when someone from another driver, another car, gives you a zap sign, and why are you offended? You don't know the person from a bar of soap, but that person's opinion matters so much to you, and you're so angry, upset, and offended, and now you are responding towards that. Why is it so that that one's opinion matter? You need to get to the root, because there's a belief system of insecurity, a belief system of rejection, a belief system of many years ago. Someone did that to you when you were a child and you couldn't defend yourself. Now that you're an adult, the child within you is still screaming out, I need to defend myself because at that time I could not defend myself. So now the past is just playing itself out, and we stay in that loop, that predictable loop that we are stuck in, and we don't change. That's what I want to help you tonight in this show, to understand why is it so when you get criticism that that person's opinion matters so much. Why is it so? Why can't you evict the squatter? Okay. Here are some signs of mental squatters. When someone squats illegal on your premises, in your holy sanctuary, what are these signs? Here they are. Have a look at it. At least you say this is 100% who I find myself. Yep. Sibilele, yes, the losses, failed marriages, those things, yes. You are talking now. You are talking. I'm talking to the right audience. Yeah, the signs. Come on, let's have a look at it. When we replay past regrets or conversations, you play those tapes over and over and over. But still, despite playing them over and over, you're not getting any answers. You're just feeling more horrible. Then there's an inner dialogue that mimics other people's behavior. You feel their anger, you feel their pain. Why? Because we are empaths and we absorb their negative energy. Are you getting it? When you absorb the negative energy of that other individual, what are you doing? You're mimicking it. You become them. And if you look at that person, look at my face here. If you become like that kind of horrible attitude of that individual, you're absorbing that individual's negative energy into your domain of reality. And then we become like them. We become contaminated because we've allowed it. Now we've given them the rent space, free rent space, I mean. So this is what I want to help you tonight. That is, yes, I definitely struggle with feeling of unworth. This is it. This is the stuff I'm talking to you tonight. To become aware of these squatters. But tonight's the time when you need to do something about it. And I want to help you tonight. I want to give you hope because there is a way out. That's the good news. Okay. You see, fear when stepping into the new territory. Fear of the unknown. And for episode 18 next week, I'm going to speak about fear, fear-based belief systems. So just put that also into your diary. We're going to talk about how we can get rid of fear in our lives. Fear when you step into the new territory, the unknown, the new job. Fear of breaking out of the cocoon. Fear of moving to a new town, a new city, a new country, a new job. And the squatting further manifests when you feel stuck, capped. Do you feel capped tonight? You don't like the fact if your Wi-Fi cap you, eh? But what's even worse when we cap ourselves through our feelings of unworth. And that's what you need to become aware tonight of, because it can change. That's what we are working on. Right? Makes sense, eh? No, it doesn't make sense. This is the sense of nonsense, actually. But it's in reality happening. Right. Marty, you say me too. When you said me too, I almost thought that you are advertising a new beauty product here. Me too. I also want to buy the me too. Yes. Then let's have a look at some of the skills here tonight. We need some eviction skills. When you need to evict a squatter, you need some skills. And I would like to introduce to you some powerful skills here tonight. To you, number one, the concept of mindfulness. No wonder our show is called Mindful Moments. I would like to introduce to you the concept of mindfulness and the skill of non-attachment, because you need to realize that thoughts are just mental events. They are not facts. And through a form of guided visualization tonight, as you see your thought pattern and you identify it, and you can see how you are taking that cluster of belief system and how you are evicting it from your property. You get that picture. I want you to visualize it. See yourself. You are stepping to your property and you see the squatters there, and you're opening the door and you say, out now. And if you don't move, I'm going to put all your belongings now on the street. Go. You see that picture? And what you do with non-attachment, you can say, I see you and I release you. You no longer live here. And you do that by letting it go with clarity. Things are clear because you realize now they've overstayed their visit. It's clear to you. And you do it with compassion towards yourself, because if you feel sorry for the squatter, by feeling sorry for the squatter, you don't deserve really to be in the rental estate business. Those of you who do rentals, you know what I talk about. You need to be tough. And you need to be willing to evict the squatters if they can't pay the rent. This is the reality. But now, the same principle is applicable when you apply compassion towards yourself. You apply the lease agent apply compassion not towards the tenants, but towards the landlord that he or she is representing. You are the landlord. And this is you that need to have compassion towards yourself, not to feel sorry for this thought and belief system. It's time to identify it. Okay? This is how powerful the stuff is that I'm sharing with you tonight, even if I say it myself. So, you need to practice the mental concept of return to sender ritual, the mental return to sender practice. So when a negative opinion tries to settle in, you say mentally, or even better, out loud, hey, hello, hey, this does not belong to me. Hey, this letter, no, this does not belong to me. I return it to the sender with love and release. I don't take it. It doesn't belong to me. I don't associate myself with this letter. You see, this act breaks the unconscious absorption of emotional energy that was never yours to carry. It was never intended for you to carry the burden of the squatter on your property. They're squatting there, and they are illegal squatters, and it's time for you tonight to evict them with the concept of non-attachment by saying, it's time to let go. This does not serve me anymore. In Afrikaans, we can say it very nice. Voetcheck. There's another one also in Afrikaans, but I'm not going to say that on air. But you know what I mean. It starts with an F. Right. So, you say, this does not belong to me. I return it to the sender with love and release. Go, 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 go. Hamba, there you go. It's not part of me anymore. So that's very important tonight. So before you can let go, you need to acknowledge this fact that I am suffering. I am suffering because I do not take the necessary authority here to evict. And because of me not evicting these squatters, what's happening to me? I am suffering. I am suffering big time because I don't let it go. You see, thoughts that are energized becomes magnetized. When that thought is very negative, it's got a low vibrational energy, and it will attract everything on that level, and the squatters will remain. But the same principle is also applicable when you decide to shift. Remember, we are in the shifting industry here. We are not in the fix-it industry here. We are shifting. These are shiftings. You don't gradually evict the squatter. You don't plead them. No, man. It's a once-off process. If you see in the red ants what they do, they come in. Tonight, it's the time for the red ants to come in and to let them go. No wonder I did the bugle tonight. The announcement. Right? That's the thing. To announce tonight. The new beginning, the shifting of these old, outdated belief systems that do not serve you anymore. Because you're doing it with compassion towards yourself. Hey, compassion towards yourself. If you love yourself enough, how on earth will you tolerate it? I love myself too much to allow that person to speak to me like that and to suffer the consequences of that by staying awake. I love my sleep too much to allow that worry to keep me awake. It's not worth it. My love for myself exceeds that idea of what that other person is thinking or saying about me. And that is how powerful this skill of eviction works, because you need to also challenge your cognitive distortions in your mind why you're not evicting. Because distortions, distorted thoughts like mind reading, they think I'm a failure. Then I don't actually know what they think is the reality. When that thought tries to stay rent-free in your mind, stop mind reading. Stop personalizing everything. When people criticizes you and when people blame you, when we think it's all my fault, and you can shift it by saying this is all about them, not me. And another way how we distort it in our mind is by means of catastrophizing. Oh, this is terrible what's happening. Oh, this is the end of the world. It ruins everything. But when you can shift it, you can just think like this. This is unpleasant, but it's not the end of the world. Hello, it's not the end of the world. You see, we need to know the difference between perception and truth. And when we are in a crisis situation, it seems to me that we distort these two things. You see, what others think of you is filtered through their pain, their programming, their perspective, their own insecure projections. It's their lens. Just because they have a cluttered lens, you don't have to say, let me also put your lens on my lens. It's their lens. It's not your mirror. It doesn't belong to you. Their lens, their mirror is their distorted one. Your job isn't to absorb their lens. And I'm speaking especially tonight to those of you who feel like an empath. You absorb other people's positive, but unfortunately also the negative energy. You absorb everything. Especially those of you who are very sensory sensitive. You tend to absorb everything, your filters. You're going to have to change your filters. Go for a cleanup. It's to clean your own filter and see yourself clearly. And that's why you need to ask the question here tonight when we talk about these cognitive distortions. Is this really truth, what I'm thinking here? Or is it just someone else's opinion echoing inside of my head here? You're going to have to understand tonight to discern between perception and truth. Okay? And that truth gets distorted through mind reading when we personalize things. When a person tries to attack you, you take it so personal, and then the person stays rent-free in your mind. That thought stays rent-free. And what happens? Then we catastrophize. We blow things out of proportion, and then we suffer. Okay. So, this is now the halfway mark. Now, what I'm going to share with you now is going to be more of a joke, but don't laugh too loud, okay? Because I'm trying to be very serious about what I'm going to do now. I've never done this before. Yesterday, while I was preparing for the show, you know what came to my mind? This way of thinking, when we allow other people's ideas, opinions to stay rent-free in our mind, the past, as you say, it's like backward thinking. So backwards thinking is a very dangerous thing. And what I want to do now, I've made a recording yesterday of a song, just quick song I made up with my, I always have my ukulele here with me, and tonight the ukulele is also with me, but I want to play you the backward song. So the lyrics go like this. The first line is the lyrics of the song, and the second line is the lyrics backward. Have you ever heard a backward song? Now I'm going to play you a backward song and let's see if it makes sense to listen to a backward song. And this is exactly how our mindset goes when we absorb the negativity of others, the squatters, and they stay rent-free in our mind. It's backward thinking. Are you ready for it? Right, here it goes. Just take a sip of your tea and your coffee. Whatever you have, Milo, Horlicks, whatever you have there. Here it is. Take it away, Jath. I want to sing you the backward song. Because sometimes with our irrational thinking and allowing people to stay rent-free in our mind, we're actually thinking backward. So in order to understand how ridiculous it is when we believe the lie, I'm going to play you the song. So it's the backwards song. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Live in the moment, not stuck in the past. Past the in stuck, not moment, the in love. This ride's going forward, not backwards, fast. Fast, backward, not forward, going right. This doesn't make sense, eh? So what if I'm weird? That's part of the show. Show the part that's weird. I'm if what so. Truth shines through even, upside down flow. Flow upside even through shines truth. A key change. Now everybody together and live in the moment, not stuck in the past. Past the in stuck, not moment, the in love. This ride's going forward, not backwards, fast. Fast, backward, not forward, going right. This. So what if I'm weird? This part of the show. Show the part that's weird. I'm if what so. Truth shines through even, upside down flow. Flow upside even through shines through. Flow upside down even through shines through. Totally upside down. And this is the backwards song. And I hope it makes sense to you. No, it doesn't make any sense to sing like this. Do you agree with me? Let me stop the recording. I didn't know what I was doing until I now checked myself. How ridiculous it is, the backwards song. Okay, from now on, when someone is staying rent-free in your mind, listen to this video recording and fast forward towards this point and listen to this song. Okay? Shall we move on? Right. The idea of shifting is very powerful here tonight because we need to challenge these cognitive distortions. You love it, Elise? Okay, donkey. You need to ask, what does my wise mind, my higher mind, my higher self say about this matter of this squatter staying rent-free in my place? What will my higher self say? And then, is this belief growing me or shrinking me? When you check those belief systems that's holding you back, is it growing you or is it shrinking you? And the final one, is it really a fear-based or a vision-based belief system that you need to really have? Because if it's fear, then you must understand the motive is wrong. If you are afraid of evicting, what will they say? Oh, it's dangerous. They look very dangerous. Can't evict these people. Oh, what are they going to do to me? Oh, what will people say about me when I evict them? They're going to say I'm a cruel monster. Hey, that's true. When you put boundaries up, people are going to say you're a monster. They're going to criticize you. Hello? So You're going to have to use your wise mind filter, your higher self. And before letting any external voice into your inner space, first run it through your wise mind. That's why I say this thought helped me to grow and flow. Is it really rooted in love or fear? Because where there's fear, there's zero love, eh? And then also you can also think how your wise mind will guide you in this matter is by asking the question, would my future self entertain this at all? And if this thought doesn't align with your truth, your authentic self, and your vision, don't rent out the space. Don't rent it out. Okay? Don't rent it out. And here's another skill that we can look at. The wonderful skill of radical acceptance, that we need to learn to acknowledge that some beliefs, they used to protect you. Oh, these people who are squatting now, oh, they used to be such good payers. They used to be such good occupants. They painted the house and they mowed the lawn and everything. They were so kind tenants. But lately they haven't been paying rent. And now I just keep them for the sake of the past. You get it? I keep them, I tolerate them just for the sake of the past. Because they used to pay rent in the past. But that doesn't matter anymore. The bank won't ask that because you've been paying the loan, the bond in the past. We'll have mercy for you. Now, they will demand it now. That's what you need to say. Accept what was without letting it rule what is. Do you get it? Accept what was without letting it rule what is. Because now you say, I know better now. Therefore, I choose better now. Because I know better now, I can choose better now. That's the power of radical acceptance. To acknowledge the reality that once upon a time it did protect you, that belief system, by being in survival mode, to fight for yourself. But the battle is over, the war is over. You can let go. You can let go. It's fine to let go. It's only a nightmare. It's not real. Let it go. This eviction skill means that you're going to have to rewrite the lease. You're going to have to rewrite the lease, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is your opportunity to look at your belief system and those belief systems that do not serve you anymore about yourself, your security, your self-esteem, your belief system about money, about God, about sex, about anything that is holding you back in a limiting situation. You're going to have to rewrite that lease. If you fear someone's judgment, test this. Here's the test. What's the worst that could happen if they think poorly of me? What if my ex, those of you who are still struggling with that, you know what I mean. Eh? You know what I mean. What if that person's opinion will become even worse? If they think worse than they think of you now, will it make you feel worse? Do you get it? I repeat it. You can read it also. What's the worst that could happen if they think poorly of me? This is where you're going to have to rewrite the rewriting starts in your daily declaration by saying, and you write it down, you griffle it. I am the gatekeeper of my mind. I am the landlord. This is my property. private property. This is a sanctuary. It's holy, it's sacred. It's a sacred space. I am the gatekeeper of my mind. My mind, I am shifting it towards taking the authority. And these affirmations I'm giving you, you can put it on flashcards, write it on your mirror, you can make journaling prompts, do whatever please you, as long as you ingrained it in your mind. What am I doing tonight? This is a rewiring system I'm teaching you through neuro-spiritual habits. That's why you love this show. It's not just a spiritual experience. It's not just a psychological experience. It's neuroplasticity in motion, neuro-spiritual. Now you understand what this show is all about. It's a neuro-spiritual approach, something very new. Okay, that was just stated by the way. You can say to yourself, it's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to be afraid of letting go. But I don't have to believe their words any longer. I don't have to believe the words of the ex. I don't have to believe the words of the inner child who was trying to protect me at that point of my life. That I'm not good enough. That I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm a loser, I will never make it, and other people's opinions matter, and I always have to please other people, I'm afraid of rejection. You know, that's the bottom line, why we're afraid to step up and step in and clean up the yard. Fear of rejection. And I repeat it again tonight, rejection is not fear of other people's rejection, you are actually rejecting yourself. And these triggering events just remind you how poorly you think of yourself. That's why you are so scared to step up. Nobody can reject you. It's impossible. You only reject yourself. And when someone says the bad word, you're rejecting yourself because the hurt is there inside. Their word is just a trigger. You need to evict it. It's time to evict it. Let me add some few ideas on this idea of rewriting the lease, ladies and gentlemen. It means, you hear my tone of my voice here tonight. I'm sick and tired and fed up of living in the past, and that the horrible, junk, stinking, rotten thoughts of the past, anything that's past is rotten. You can't just keep the stuff in the past all the time. They get rotten, outdated, they expire. Start each morning with these declarations that I've been sharing there. That's why it's on the screen there. I put it on the screen for you loud and clear. In addition to it, you can also say, only I choose what lives in my mind today. No one gets space without my permission. Only I choose what lives in my mind today, now. No one gets the privilege to occupy that space without my permission. What am I doing here? This is mental muscle building, brain plasticity in motion, that inner muscle of sovereignty that you are restoring tonight in your life. And the more you practice it, the stronger your boundaries become. You get it? This is what it's all about. You can change. Only if you're willing and ready to take up the authority in your life. And it starts with the word, the declaration, the renewal of this lease that you need to do. And if you need more specifics about how these occupants look like, go to all our other 16 episodes. Like Desiree, you said last week, episode 16 was your highlight. Yes, it was a good one. It was a good one. Tonight's one will compete with last week's one. I don't know. Maybe tonight's one's going to beat it. I think so. That's my personal opinion. But that's all about you. Yes, Mari, you say yes. I like it. Keep on doing it. And let me just, our people here on the YouTube channel, yes, you are still there live. Yes. Hello, Sanette. Good to have you there. Great. So let's carry on here with this wonderful message. We need to wrap up. We still have 10 minutes left. And I want to encourage you tonight. It's time for you to take authority by rewriting the lease in your life. This means a soul vision activation. If these squatters are gone, imagine what do you envision will move in. Now here comes our second visualization exercise. I want you to close your eyes and envision now. You saw that picture earlier, half an hour ago, when I helped you to envision how you evict them. Well, someone else needs to occupy the place. You are the lease rental estate agent. And you need to scrutinize and you need to approve through the application of the new tenants, prospect tenants. And you, as the estate agent and also the owner, will have to approve the new applicant. I want you to envision, who are they? Oh, I love myself, I accept myself, I am good enough. I am living in the moment. I am a magnet of attraction, of positivity in my life. The goodness is coming towards me like waves of love and thunders echoing how intelligent, clever, wise I am. Every day and every way, my life is getting better and better. All that I need is within me now. I lack nothing. From a spiritual point of view, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I lack nothing. And as you speak these things over yourself, the truth, you identify these tenants. I gave you the example. There are many good tenants, many applicants I've just identified who qualify to stay rent-free. Now they don't have to stay rent-free, my apologies. They will pay rent because they deserve to be there in your mansion, your mental mansion. Use your imagination for the positive instead of using your imagination to see the worst. Now you use your imagination. You can use vision boards. You can use your journal, flashcards, declarations, anything, just to rewrite your story. That's soul vision activation, to change the narrative in your mind. Yes, we can change. Or emotions is simply just a manifestation of our thoughts, our belief systems, whatever we believe and think. That's accordingly how our emotions will respond. And we can change it tonight to feel good and better when we involve an elevated emotion towards the vision of how you really want to think about your business, about your marriage, about your finances, about that new car that you want. First, feel the feeling assigned with the new vision, not the thought of doubt that will create the emotion of fear. Very powerful. You need to get involved tonight. You need to practice observing your thoughts without judgment. You need to become aware of what you're thinking. You need to become aware of what's going on in your mind and jot it down. Become aware of these intrusive thoughts. Become aware of these squatters. Name and shame them. Then you will say, there's that critical voice again. Oh, here we go again. I don't have to engage. And then you notify your top mental squatter to evict this week, this coming week. That's the power. That's the power. Notify your top mental squatter to evict this week. And that is the power of the authority that you have in your life. Yes. Someone is also asking, I'm just checking with the one eye. Directly after this video will be also ready and for watching on YouTube. So it will be available. Although it's live, it will also be available to watch here after. Within an hour after I'll show you tonight, it will be available for you. Right. And what I suggest, if it's too much to get the whole lot out of your property, take one inspired action every day. As simple as that. Start somewhere. Start somewhere. Right? So you learn to observe instead of, as I said earlier, do not personalize when they try to intimidate you. You know, many of these squatters, they want to intimidate and personalize you. So I know where you stay. You know, I can, you know, and now fear comes in. Observe those thoughts. Why you don't want to let them go. You see, instead of taking opinions personally, practice being your own observer. Observe the squatters. Observe it. Watch that thought coming, and then choose whether it deserves a seat at your mental table. Tonight is your opportunity to check if that thought, that belief about yourself, that belief about finances, that belief about prosperity, that belief about your health condition, whether it really deserves a seat at your mental table. That fear that you don't want to even express because you're afraid even to say it. But you keep it there in your heart and it's there. Watch that thought coming, acknowledge it, accept it, as I always say, and then after you have accepted it, here you are, choose whether this thought deserves a place in my yard, on my property. Because not every thought deserves your emotional energy. Not every thought deserves your emotional energy. They can come like the waves. They can come like clouds in the sky. But you don't have to embrace it. Not everything we think we have to believe. It can come in, I observe and say, it doesn't serve me. I get to choose what stays in my inner world. And as I said earlier, because thoughts that are energized become magnetized. That's the power. And that is the change that you can bring to yourself tonight. So this is how powerful this stuff is that I'm sharing with you now. Here's a bonus that I would like to do. And I always like this DBT concept of the stop principle. How powerful it is when you learn to stop when these evictions is supposed to take place. Here's the STOP principle. How are you going to evict them? Quick. STOP. Stop. Pause mentally. Take a deep breath. Observe. What am I feeling? Is this the thought helpful? Then proceed with a healthier response. This is how you can deal with this squatter or whole group of squatters on your property. The stop technique for those intrusive thoughts. They are intruders. They don't belong there legally. That was not the idea originally, for them to stay on your property. By you becoming aware of it, you're letting it go. Here's the closing declaration for tonight. My worth isn't determined by others' opinions. No longer. Number 2, today, I reclaim the throne of my mind because it's sacred. It's a sacred space. No one lives in my mind here without my permission. Never rent-free. They don't deserve it. Tonight, in conclusion, I release the squatters. I renew the lease to love, to have peace. I renew the lease of all possibilities in my life. Speak it over yourself. Believe it. Cancel the old lease. No, there's no old lease. There's no lease, actually, illegal lease. Squatters stay there without a lease. Therefore, you say to yourself, I renew the lease to love, to have peace and possibility in my life. With consistent practice, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, listener, viewers, you can train your brain to acknowledge criticism without letting it control your emotions. You get it? What do you think about tonight's show? Comment below before we end this show tonight. Share, what did you learn tonight? What's the highlight of tonight? And please don't tell me the song was your highlight, okay? Although I like that one. Okay, what I will do, when we are done, when I go off air, I will play it again for those of you who want to listen and watch it again. I'll do it for your sake. Yes, Sibilela, you say they accept what was without letting it rule what is. Oh, that's your highlight for tonight. Yes, Mari, it's time for you to renew the lease. Yes, go for it. Wonderful stuff here tonight. Stuff that you've learned tonight to prepare yourself for what lies there this coming week. Remember, those of you who do the mentoring coaching with me, I told you tonight is going to be a good one. Powerful. The Back to the Future part is your highlight. Yes. Rewriting the lease tonight. This is the whole idea. Ilse, hello. Yes, the eviction concept is so practical. The narrative of eviction is so real because we're all dealing with it in some other way with the eviction narrative in our society. Oh, the song was your highlight tonight, dear Lise. Imagine it will be played on the radio and the TV tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Oh, that will be fun. You can share that part. You can download it and share it with anyone. I don't care. There is no, oh, that is nice. Oh, what you say, the past is rotten. Yes. It stinks, the past. Oh my word, it stinks. No, we need to let it go. Come on. Something that stinks and's rotten, you're not going to treasure it. The only thing that's rotten is only good for one thing: compost. Yes. I don't know about you, but I had a very good time tonight. This was good to have you all on board. Someone tell me how, if you could see tonight, how many was tuning in tonight here on the Facebook. Desiree, thank you. Great stuff. I still have questions, but we'll get to it soon. Thanks, Chad. Stay blessed. You too, all of you. Listen. If there's any questions, like Desiree is asking here tonight, if there's any question, comment below here after, because this thread carries on for the next month. It will still be there. And if you have still questions, because I'm being guided by you about these episodes, they just flow into each other. I know next week I'm going to talk about fear-based belief systems. to how to identify it and how to let it go. But for going forward, please, if you have any questions, don't shy away to ask. Whether if it's more personal, anonymous, you can post it, or you can also then as well go to WhatsApp me personally, because most of you have my WhatsApp number. Then you can also ask a question there that we can just formulate it and bring it into next week's show. So thank you tonight. Thank you tonight for your participation. And those of you who still have your struggles, like Mari, what you say there, acknowledge it, envision the outcome, and stay in a positive state of gratitude, and you speak the outcome. Speak it every day, see it, feel the outcome, and seal the feeling with an elevated emotion of gratitude. Because gratitude is the magnet for change of perception and change of your circumstances. I first change before my circumstances will change. So that was it for tonight. Thank you everybody for your wonderful contribution here tonight. I love you all. I appreciate you deeply, deeply for what you've shared tonight, the questions, everything you've put in here tonight, your comments really guided me going forward. I love you all. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a fantastic week going forward. And next week, 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock, we will see each other again. Cheers. Verheer.